Yes, that sound can only mean one thing. James Bond is back. Welcome back, Becca. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you, James?
Fantastic. Well, today's movie, Becca, is what?
From Russia with love.
Ooh, well, I enjoyed that accent. Well done. That was gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Well, yes, here it is. From Russia with love.
That's it. Look at that little smirk Mr. Bond has.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, so I'm going to preface this by saying that From Russia with Love is Sean Connery's and two actors that follow. Lois Maxwell, who plays Miss Moneypenny, three producers of this franchise. It's their favorite movie.
Really?
Yes.
Do they give a reason, or was it just like a magical experience to create?
Multiple reasons, I'm sure. You know, they have different reasons for it, but I just wanted to start off by saying that they think that this is the best James Bond movie or their personal favorite.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, and it's also JFK's favorite book.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to read the book to see if it's similar or if it's too different at all.
Yeah, and that was the reason why they chose, apparently, this film next, because chronologically, as we know, it doesn't follow. The James Bond series doesn't follow the novels.
Right.
So apparently this was one of the reasons why From Russia with Love was chosen to be the next film, because JFK announced it that, you know, they do the list of the top movies or something like this. Well, this was the top, From Russia with Love.
Wow. I will say I did like this one significantly more than Dr. No.
Significantly more. Wow.
Yeah, I felt like there was more going on. I felt there were more layers, more different intertwining storylines, and that the plot was more developed, I think.
There's a plot.
Yeah, thank God.
We can understand. Wow, can you believe it? Yeah. No, I agree. I actually prefer Dr. No.
Oh, really? Just because it's the first one?
It does have points for that, which I said last time.
Mhm.
It does get points for that. But also, I think visually, it's a little bit more appealing. I think it's easier on the eyes.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm trying to put my mind in the audience, in an audience member from the 60s, basically. And I'm trying to think what would wow me more. For sure, plot, character development, script, all of this. From Russia with Love wins. It's the better movie, I think. But just personally, I just enjoy Dr. No a little bit more.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not necessarily surprised to hear that, considering how much of a diehard fan you are. And I think the visual components are a good point. But I think there was a lot of color and vibrancy in this one too. With you, we were in Turkey, right? Turkey, and gypsies were there, and all sorts of different architecture. So I think there were different vibrant components that kind of can make it parallel to Dr. No. But
yeah,
I see your point.
Yeah, I'm going to start with my favorite shot of the movie.
Oh, okay, great. I have two favorite shots. So go ahead.
You have two? Okay. Well, actually, I have a large book. It's called the James Bond Archives.
Okay.
And this is how I'll be doing it from now on. I think I'm going to choose a still or something like this from this book, whereas you will go directly from the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is how we, differ a little bit. So this is kind of a wide shot of a scene I think is gorgeous. By the way, this is the book. It's very heavy. It's very large.
Sorry, not dirty.
No, not at all. Now, this shot here. this stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Isn't that just wonderful?
that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's it's so dramatic.
Hmm.
It really is, and I think because of the color and the lighting, especially, I think the light design in this scene is beautiful and well planned,
Hmm.
and the fact that it's dark and the only light you can see is this the actress's face. I can't remember her name, but it does say on the poster. You just see it, and then of course when the teeth open, which is kind of a funny gag, it lights up even more. And I just think, I don't know, I just think it's that for me is the most visually stunning part of this movie, and I think the lighting is impressive more than anything in From Russia with Love.
I think so too. I think that was a really pretty shot, really well done. My shots, well, I picked two, and they have similarities between the two, which is kind of funny.
Okay,
But I will share my screen. Comes from, so this is at the very beginning of the film.
it is.
And I just loved it because at that same, like the angles of his face and the statues behind him are like the same. Um, and this beginning really caught me because it just drops you in the middle of action, which I always love because it just immediately sucks you in. You're not sure what's going on, but there's urgency to it. There's dramatic music. And then there's this point where he just stops. And then it's just so perfectly timed. Like I can only imagine how much effort that took to correlate those two components as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was planned. It might have been a happy accident. I don't know, but regardless, I appreciated it.
and great sound effects as well with this scene, because I think it's at this point there's an effect that goes like dun, something like
Yeah.
that, right? It kind of like takes you aback.
It's all in the timing of this, which I thought was really amazing. And
Yeah.
then similarly, my second favorite, I think there was a lot of like that feeling of somebody lurking in the background throughout this whole movie. And that brings me to my second shot where he's walking
Ooh.
along the train and his pursuit or pursuer is walking inside the train. And you can't actually see this actor, but you can only see him in the reflections. And it just kind of transcends, what's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for? Progresses that way where
Yeah.
you see that following behind him.
They are connected.
Yeah, both kind of that over the shoulder. Somebody's lurking behind me.
Yeah. And to be honest, I think that links in with why this film was so successful and why it is a number of people's favorites, because I think this is, and not to spoil later films, but this is much more spy-like than Doctor No. Let's
Yes.
put it that way. I mean, don't forget, this is a spy movie. He is a spy. James Bond is a spy.
Mhm.
And I think we get a lot of those spy elements that were missing in Doctor No, with
Mhm.
the sleuth and the sneaking and all of that kind of stuff. I think that's why it's so successful, because it was similar to the novels as well. Um, but it was more of a spy thriller.
Yeah. You definitely get that impression that it's just that there's something coming just around the corner.
It's the perfect spy thriller.
I agree. You have that sense as an audience of there's that little anxiety rising within oh my gosh, is Bond going to get caught? Like, because we see it as an audience, we have that
Yeah.
knowledge of this person or people or threats, whatever, coming up on him. But he's kind of, I mean, I'm sure he's not oblivious, but it's that moment in the theater where you're like, look behind you, that kind of thing.
And one thing you said as well was you said something that you enjoy particularly is being thrown right into the action.
Yes,
And that is something that is introduced in this film, and it's a cold open. I love a cold open.
I do too.
And James Bond gives cold opens in every movie apart from Doctor No, I
Hmm.
think. Yes. So, yeah, you have that to look forward to. And I think this is a great cold open because we don't know what's going on. I mean, we see James Bond, but it's not really James Bond. And it's like, wait, he, he was killed,
Yeah.
but it's, but, and then the lights come up and then the mask is off, and then straight into the titles. It's,
At first, I didn't realize that it was like a training exercise. I thought that they were making a movie within a movie. And I was like, oh, where are we going with this? Like, is James Bond a known figure? Like, what's going on here? Or is it a spy movie that they're making? I thought it was really interesting, very engaging.
and then we slip into the titles.
We do.
Exactly. The shoulder movements are perfect because that's what we get. We get
So,
shoulder movements, we get belly dancing.
some of those
Yeah.
belly dancing movements were interesting, where it was like, is that normal in belly dancing? I'm not up to date on my belly dancing culture, but I was like, what? What's happening? What muscles are those? How is it moving like that? How does she do that? And I had like the names ripple twice. Did you notice that? Because they kept
Yeah.
like a movement would happen and you'd see the name like James Sample, and then you'd see James Sample, like again.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of cool actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you notice we didn't get an official theme song again.
I noticed.
We got the James Bond song in there, which I think is important though, because it's establishing this is the James Bond song, you know? So it's like when you hear this in trailers, TV spots, or when the third one comes along, you know, it's James Bond.
Who's the composer for that James Bond sound? You know?
John Barry.
I wonder if he's done any other theme songs that we know of.
Speaking of songs, this film was nominated for 2 big awards.
Really?
Yes. One was a Golden Globe,
Okay.
which it lost. It was nominated for Best Song. Not the song from the titles, but From Russia with Love by Matt Monro.
From Russia with love.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I fly
So it did lose. It lost to Circus World. You know that amazing song Circus World that we all know and love today?
Yes.
But something it didn't lose was Best British Cinematography Colour at the BAFTAs.
I was going to say, I bet it's got something to do with cinematography.
It was the most successful movie in Britain that year.
Wow. What were the other ones in that category? Do you know?
Couldn't tell you.
Nope. Okay.
So, cut, print, moving on. Do you know how to play chess, by the way?
No, but I kept watching it at the beginning, reminiscing about when I was a kid. My brothers and I would play checkers with the chess pieces because we liked the chess pieces, but we didn't know how to play chess. Not at all.
No, me neither. I don't know how. I've tried to learn. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I haven't got the patience.
Yeah. I know it's a very serious game.
Well, yeah, well, no shit. You can kind of tell in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great scene as well. And that's where we're introduced. Well, not introduced because it was introduced in Doctor No, actually, but we are reintroduced to Spectre. Of course, they were after the Lecter, but at the same time, they were getting revenge for Doctor No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did think that the plot made sense. I mean, of course, because I can actually tell you right now what happened. Are you the same?
And there were multiple motivations, which I think made it more interesting to watch.
Yes. And I think for me, the villain, Rosa Klebb, is a much better villain than Dr. No.
Oh, yeah. She's
Isn't she
so
fantastic?
intriguing. Yeah. I would love to see more from her, but
Yeah. Well, she's an Oscar nominee. I mean, she's not with us anymore, of course. It's a long time ago, but I saw that she was an Oscar nominee. And I was like, yeah, you can tell because she was great.
yeah, I wanted more from her.
Because she was scary. I was terrified of her, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah.
Also gave these other layers of how fearful she was of her boss. You know, the sweat pouring from her forehead.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was like, yes, finally. I mean, well, not finally, this is our second film, but I was like, this is such an improvement from Dr. No, the villain.
Mm-hmm. I agree. We got to know this villain more, I think.
Lesbian?
What?
Lesbian?
Sure. Was
They
she?
certainly insinuated. Did you not
Oh,
catch that?
I did not catch that.
She was a bit too flirtatious with our Tatiana Romanova, I thought.
Oh, I thought it was like a dominance thing, like an authoritative thing. You know,
Okay, yeah.
you know how you see that sometimes when in other stories or even in real life, but when an authoritative figure kind of has that hold over you and it's like, oh, my pretty possession, like I own you kind of thing.
Fun fact, those shoes were an actual weapon by the KGB, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. I think I did know that.
Yeah, an actual weapon. Poison-tipped shoe.
Oh, it's deadly. It's deadly.
Yeah, yeah.
Killing.
But we did just mention the Bond girl,
Yes.
Tatiana Romanova.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I liked Honey Rider better.
Me too.
I feel like this Bond girl was pretty useless until the end.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I mean, like, because she was just that quintessential like archetype of damsel in distress throughout this entire film. I mean, she had her undercover layers and like her inside intelligence of all of the spy world, things like that. But like, she was also very sniveling, and I couldn't tell if it was just because of the undercover character she was playing or if it was her character. But either way, I was like, girl, do something. And finally
Yeah.
she did at the end. But
Yeah, she made the right choice by, shooting Rosa, but still, yeah, I was exactly the same as you. Thought exactly the same thing. I was like, come on. It wasn't about choosing sides or anything like this, but I wasn't clear of her intentions. And I'm not sure if that was because of her acting or because of that was the character, I was like, I'm not sure what I think of you or what I'm supposed to think of you.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if she was going to play the double agent kind of card or if she was going to, follow her heart.
The
And
actress Daniela Bianchi. She's Italian.
oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, the actress. And here we go. This is what she looks like now, or in later years.
Oh, wow.
So she's still rocking that hairstyle.
Yeah, it works for her.
It does, and I think she knew that. She loved her hair in this movie. There was a lot of this.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that damsel in distress. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
She is actually, and still is to this date, the youngest Bond girl. Like the
Really?
youngest actress to play a Bond girl. She was 21.
She came off much older.
Agreed.
Like Honey Rider had more of a younger feel to her because she had
Yeah.
that innocence. I can't imagine being 21 and playing a Bond girl. Just knowing where I was at 21.
Right. We all know where you were at 21.
Oof. Next
I was
topic. I will say, since we're talking about the women, one of our other ladies from the first film made an appearance at the beginning of this one, right?
She did. Miss Sylvia Trench.
Yeah. So it's like his little girlfriend, and then he's got these other women too, right?
She was actually supposed to be in all of the films with Sean Connery
Mm-hmm.
as what you just said, as his girlfriend. And the running gag was supposed to be he was going to be called away and she was going to be pretty pissed off every time it happened. That was kind of supposed to be the comedic scene. And it stopped after this.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
wonder
stopped.
why. I enjoyed seeing Miss Moneypenny again.
It's a lot more flirtatious this time.
Oh gosh, they get all up in each other's business.
And you think they're almost about to kiss, and then they just, slide to the side and rub cheeks. Yeah.
So sensual. I feel like she's so on par with him,
Yes.
in terms of intellect, and she's just clever and she's got such moxie too. She knows her own intentions and what she wants, and I can't wait to see how that develops more.
Yeah. And the other scene where Moneypenny is featured is actually, I think, my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Is it the one where she's listening into the transcript and then
Yeah.
I love
Hilarious.
that part. And then she gets caught. They're like, Miss Moneypenny, surely you're listening.
Yeah, but even before that as well, like, it's all these men in the room, and then she's just sitting there, writing her transcript and all like this. And then, Tatiana's being a bit flirtatious and a bit playful and mentions Bond and M's trip in Japan. And then she's like, right, get out. And I just think it's such a funny scene. And then as soon as they needed to get rid of the lady so they could listen and have their man talk,
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I really did. I think James Bond can have these elements of comedy now and then. And this was a perfect example of that.
Yeah. She's so great. She just really holds her own. I like her a lot.
Good. And we were introduced to Q as well in this movie. Q is the gadget master.
But we had a gadget master in the first one, right?
We did, but he was not known as Q. This is somebody who you're going to see in this franchise for a long time.
I remember Q from Skyfall.
Yeah.
He's more prominent in like what I'm assuming. I'm assuming his character becomes more prominent in the later films.
Yes.
So, okay, this was his first official like introduction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because we get a lot more gadgets in this movie. There are a number of times during this movie where I don't think Sean Connery's acting. I think he's reacting. And this is one of the moments where he's opening the case and he's like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, yeah.
When he's opening it and he's like, I think I know how to do it, And it's like, I don't think James Bond would actually say that or like have this expression because, he's too cool for school kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But he seems genuinely so like buzzing to be doing it. Another scene where he reacts, I think, is when he's watching the Gypsies.
Yes. I saw that too.
He looks elated.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's sitting there and he's got the biggest smile that you don't see on James Bond's face. Rarely, anyway. And he's just like in awe of these women and what's going on. And I just think, that's Sean. That's not James. But that's such a great scene as well. The whole gypsy scene.
What an elaborate scene, because then it escalates into this whole gun battle.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, really thrilling. And I think the whole film does up the ante when it comes to the action.
Up the ante is a good way to put it because it just kept building on itself.
And we got the boat chase at the end.
Yes. So I was thinking about this. We have, because, we like our cars in these James Bond films, but I felt like this film, yes, there were cars and all of that, but I don't think there was like an actual car chase. It was all different modes of transportation because you had your train chase. You have a couple of different train chases and then your boat chase. And I mean, there was the truck, there was the flower truck, but
yeah,
I felt like
that was by a helicopter.
Yes, exactly. So that's another mode of transportation.
Sean. You mentioned Connery. Okay, so let me go back to the question from Dr. Noam. Do you fancy him yet, Becca? He's very hairy.
He's very hairy. He's very hairy. Like you can, yeah. And that's not really my thing.
So the answer is no, basically.
Yeah, I think, I'm still not really like attracted to him.
Oh.
I do like that he takes his coffee black. I wrote down actually which words I could hear his Scottish accent come through on, and it's sir and very.
Yes. Well done again. I mean, you're just killing it with these accents today.
Gosh, thanks. I try sometimes.
Keep going, please. Well, fun fact about the Scottish side, actually. So, Ian Fleming, the author of the novels,
Uh-huh.
did a complete 180 on Sean Connery because he was won over because of his performance in this movie.
Really?
So much that Ian Fleming actually wrote Scottish ancestry into the character.
Wow. Are you attracted to Sean Connery?
I see, I love a bit of hair. He's really tall. He has a good body. He has grey hair, which I enjoy. I
Mhm.
say it again. And I think I would. I think I would is the answer to the question.
Ooh. You'd climb him
Yeah,
like a tree.
I would. One other thing, a new element of James Bond is the henchman, and it's Red Grant. You'll notice that he's kind of the prototype. There's like this blonde, muscled man. He's silent for about 80% of this movie. Did you notice? He doesn't speak. He first speaks. It's quite high pitched and really, really English. Just when he first speaks, like, oh, hello, old man. And I was like,
Come again?
but then obviously that was a character he was playing because when it's revealed who he actually is to Bond, he
Mhm.
goes a bit cocky.
It was interesting. He's an interesting character. I liked his very sly movement of drugging Tanya's drink.
Looking, you know the scene in the hotel suite between Bond and Tanya?
You mean when they make the sex tape?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So that whole scene is usually the script they use when they're auditioning Bond girls. Now,
I don't like that
it's just the interaction. I don't think they have to be in bed, but I think the interaction.
because they're testing the chemistry.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I feel like our Bond girls today, just based off the previews and stuff that I see, I feel like they're stronger, fiercer.
Again, maybe it is because you still need that chemistry element. You need that sexual chemistry between
Oh,
them.
yeah. That's fun trivia. And also kind of like a really cool tradition that it's something that started from so long ago, if it's
Yeah.
carried over to today.
We'll find out. You need to audition to be the next Bond girl. And then you get back to me and tell me if it still is the tradition.
And that's the only reason I'll audition is just to see
The
what's going
only, right? And then if you get the part, you say, no, I'm good.
on.
I just want to report back to James and tell him that it was all true.
It was really
Or,
just investigative journalism.
we
Although I
did.
will say there was one line that really made me laugh out loud. And it was at the end. And when he's pushing the guy off the boat, he says, "It's just not your day, is it?" And I laughed out loud.
Really?
Yeah.
One for me is after Rose is murdered,
hmm
and obviously she has the shoe, the knife shoe, and Tatiana kills her, and then James Bond says, "She's had her kicks."
Yes,
I mean, I love a good pun.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll end with saying so the Rotten Tomatoes rating is the exact same as Doctor No. It's
Interesting.
95%.
Okay.
Yeah, for the critics.
hmm
Audience, it's 2% higher. It's 84%.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
pretty even keeled there.
So how about you from 0 to 7?
Mm.
Where do you put this?
I've been thinking about it. I feel like I'd give this a 4.5. I would like to see more plot development, but I do think that this one was definitely an improvement over the first one. And I think I knocked it down for points because of Tanya.
I'm going to give this a solid 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
solid 4.
Okay.
Which is less than Doctor No,
Mm-hmm.
but still more than halfway because I do think this is a very, very good film. We liked it.
We liked it.
We like that. Da-da-da-da-dun. Moves us on to the reveal of film number 3, which came a year later again, 1964.
Really cranking her out.
Yeah, we are. We really are. And it is. Did you see?
Is it
Because
Goldfinger?
yes, well done. Because at the end of the movie, for the first time, it says James Bond will return.
In Goldfinger, yep.
It's Goldfinger. There we go. Well, thank you for joining me, Becca. This has been lovely.
Oh, well, thank you, James. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Have a
So if
wonderful
you
day.
watched this, thanks for watching. If you haven't, that's all right. If
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.